All right, y'all. Hit the like button, follow, subscribe, enjoy the podcast. All right, welcome back to the most recent episode of the Shooting Part Podcast. I know it's been a while. Things got busy, but with the new season starting and everything, wanted to get back in here, kind of start making content again, start, talking about golf. Especially, TGL starting this week, and then obviously, PGA played last week, and we'll have PGA coming up this weekend, LPGA at the end of the month, Live Golf later on, Ryder Cup later on this year. So it's big year for golf. Very exciting. So especially with the Ryder Cup being back in America, up in New York at Bethpage Black. So it's extremely exciting. Happy to be back. Happy to get back at this. So we'll just jump right in. We'll go over last week's event. There was only one, obviously. It was just the PGA. They had the Century. It was the plantation course at Kapalua. Plantation course at Kapalua, Maui, Hawaii. So Hideki won it with a minus 35. Colin Morikawa came in second, minus 32. Sungjae Im, minus 29. Jonathan Vegas, minus 25. And then Ludwig, Corey Connors, and Thomas Dietrich all at minus 24. So Hideki played a hell of a event. He won it with a record-setting performance. He had the lowest score over 72 holes ever, beating previous records set by Cam Smith in 2022 at the same course. So just beat it by one stroke. But yeah, minus 35 is ridiculous for 72 holes. And for Hideki, it's a great start for 2025. Potentially, he might come out, have a big season here with the PGA. He's had 3 wins in the last 10 months. So, 3 wins last 10 months. He's always been putting on solid performances. This was his best one to date. So hopefully, we'll be seeing him at the top of the leaderboards come to the majors and whatnot. But outside of that, Colin Morikawa came in second. It's insane that he shot minus 32 and came in second, but it's what happens when, someone else is shooting a record performance. So, but on Colin Morikawa, he did debut a new pre-shot routine that he's been working on, trying to get back into the winner's circle after a winless 2024, as good as he was at the Olympics last year and whatnot. He was winless, so hopefully this can help him get back into the winner's circle. Again, minus 32, you would think that would get him back into it, but Hideki was just out of this world this past weekend. But on Morikawa's new pre-shot routine, so he started mimicking his impact position before starting his swing, and he now turns his left hip slightly open while driving his right knee toward the ball. And, that's a similar move to what Sam Snead used to do. It's basically a trigger to start their swing. And hopefully, for Colin Morikawa, it's ingraining his preferred impact position where the hips are open more to the open to the target more than his shoulders, which is what he wants. He's one of the best iron players in the world. He has been for years. I don't see that changing, but hopefully this just helps him kind of get back to where he was before 2024, which, as good as he was then, you want to see him winning a couple of events. You want to see him at the top of the leaderboard here and there. So hopefully that does help him. But outside of that, Sungjae Im, Jonathan Vegas, Ludwig, Corey Connors, Thomas Dietrich all shot well. Excited to see Ludwig this year. I think he's winning a major at some point this year. But outside of that, he's a hell of a golfer. He's still young. He's a lot of fun to watch. So keep an eye out for him throughout the season. I think he's going to be near the top of the leaderboard in a lot of these events. And later on, I'll tell you kind of the odds and whatnot for the majors and kind of who I have in a couple of them. So, but to finish out this the recap of this tournament, highlight of the tournament shot wise came from Taylor Pendrith, who holed out from 200 with his 6-iron on the par 5 fifth, which is the first albatross at the Plantation course since 1999, when the tournament moved to Kapalau. So it was a hell of a shot. If you have time, go look it up. But great shot by Taylor. Again, highlight of the tournament when it comes to shot wise, but obviously Hideki with his record setting performance. Extremely amazing. Very happy for him. Hopefully, we'll see him in the winner's circle a little bit more. All right, on to the golf news. News this past week, just some things kind of been seeing. This is a little bit more than just a week, but just some of the things that have been happening recently, at least. PGA is discussing potentially changing the Tour Championship format. There isn't that much news on it as of yet. They're kind of just in the initial discussions of it, but basically potentially changing it as it changes, as these updates kind of come through and everything. I'll be updating it on the podcast almost every week, as long as there's an update on it. If there's no update, obviously won't mention it. But they're talking about, doing a playoff format, kind of doing head-to-head, things like that. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. I don't know if there was really a problem with the Tour Championship, the way that they have it right now. But obviously, I guess head-to-head would make it a little bit more interesting so that the best player in the world is not getting a couple stroke lead to start the last tournament. But outside of that, exciting news. TGL starts this week. It'll be starting tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I'll have to double check. I think I have it written down somewhere here. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern. So 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So keep an eye out for that. It should be on ESPN, ESPN Plus. So very exciting. Obviously, people have been talking about it a lot with, the fact that Tiger and Rory were the ones that kind of came together to create this. For people that don't know what it is, it's going to be an indoor league, basically played on simulator for the most part. But I'm just going to go through all my notes here, basically give you the rundown of what it is, of the teams, and then obviously the first matchup for tonight. So the league was founded by, obviously, Tiger, Rory. As I said, it'll be a 6-team league, with each team playing 5 matches between January 7th and March 4th. The top 4 teams will advance to semifinals March 17th and 18th, and then the finals on March 24th, 25th. Each team will have 4 players, but for each match, only 3 players will play. So they pick the 3 players that they want to play in those matches. So it's not all 4 players playing each match. So the teams are as follows. You have Atlanta Drive Golf Club, which is Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Lucas Glover, and Billy Horschel. Boston Common Golf Club, which is Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott. LA Golf Club, which is Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, Justin Rose, Sahith Theegala. New York Golf Club, Ricky Fowler, Xander Schauffele, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Cam Young. Bay Golf Club, Wyndham Clark, Minwoo Lee, Ludwig Eiberg, and Shane Lowry. And then Jupiter Links Golf Club, Tiger Woods, Max Homa, Tom Kim, Kevin Kistner. Obviously, these teams are stacked. When you have the likes of Rory, Tiger, Ludwig, obviously Hideki just won the event this past week. If Justin Thomas can get back to where he was, he'll be an exciting one to watch. Obviously, Xander Schauffele, Ricky Fowler, Wyndham Clark. Xander, Wyndham both played for the U.S. in the Olympics. So these teams are stacked. It'll be a lot of fun to see kind of how this works out. But basically, the match format will be 15-hole matches with 9 of them being alternate shots and 6 holes of singles play. The 9-hole alternate shots is you're alternating between the 3 people. So it's not just 2 people. like you normally do with probably you and your buddies. It'll be between the three people. So, for example, I think this week you have Fitzpatrick, Fowler, and Schauffele playing for New York. Basically, it'll go Fitzpatrick drive, Fowler second shot, Schauffele third, back to Fitzpatrick. So that's how it'll be for the first 9 holes. I don't know how they picked courses. Honestly, I don't think they're courses. I think they're just random holes from different courses. So it's pretty cool to see, or they might be kind of created courses. I'm not 100% sure, but there are three twists from normal golf to this. So each team's going to get 4 timeouts, 2 per session, and then there's a 40-second shot clock. So if the shot clock runs out, the team will take a one-stroke penalty. So obviously, kind of instead of doing a change of possession or something like that, you can't really do that in golf. So it'll just be a one-stroke penalty. And then there's something called the hammer. So basically the hammer, I guess there's a team that holds possession. If you use the hammer on a hole, so the team that holds possession can use the hammer. They use it on a hole, it increases the value of the hole from 1 point to 2 points. It can be used multiple times. So if one team uses it, the possession goes to the other team. They can use it on the same hole, making that hole 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many times they keep going back to increase the value of this. So, but the team that plays the hammer, the team that it's played against can decline it, but they have to concede the hole. So again, New York and Bay are the 2 playing this week. If New York uses it, Bay can decline it, and they just concede the hole, which will give New York will give them 1 point instead of making the hole 2 points and potentially losing out on that second point. Very interesting. I really don't know how that's going to work. I'm interested to watch this tonight and kind of see how it goes and everything. Kind of update you guys next week. I believe they play almost every Tuesday, so I'll be dropping the podcast every Tuesday now, just so that I can get it in before the match that week, and kind of talk about last week's match for that. So outside of that, the matches are being played at the SoFi Center in Florida. They'll hit into a screen until they're approximately 50 yards. They have basically grass, rough, and sand there, so wherever they end up, they can play out of that properly. So they'll do that until they're approximately 50 yards in which they will turn around and they'll play to the green that's there. So there is a green there. The green is a 22,475 square foot short game area that transforms between holes. The green zone includes a 41-yard wide turntable that rotates the green to change the approach angles and can morph the topography using nearly 600 accurators. Basically, this green is ridiculous, and it can basically mimic anything that course specifically has on that green. So it'll be really cool to see how that works. And again, they're playing inside, so you kind of take the elements out of it once you get to 50 and in. But super cool to see. I'm excited to watch it tonight. Again, the first match is tonight, 8 p.m. Between New York and Bay. The teams are Fitzpatrick, Fowler, Schauffele for New York, Clark, Lowry, Iberg for Bay. So super excited. Can't wait to see that. But outside of that, I'll jump into the odds for the PGA. So I wanted to talk about the odds a little bit. Betting being pretty much legal throughout most of the U.S. online betting. So I want to talk about it a little bit. So with the season starting, PGA, I'll go through the odds for the 4 majors. So you got, for the Masters, you got Scotty coming in at a plus 375, Rory at a plus 1,200, Rahm at plus 1,200, and then Shambo and Iberg both at plus 1,400. Mind you, there hasn't been a back-to-back winner in the past 20 years at the Masters. So I don't know if I would take Scotty on this. I would probably go someone else, but it'll be a common theme seeing him at the top of the odds here. So PGA championship is Scotty at, again, plus 375, Rory at plus 1100, Rahm at plus 1200, DeChambeau, Iberg at plus 1200. Pretty much the same as the Masters. I found that really interesting because then the U.S. Open changes a little bit. Scotty at plus 450, Rory at plus 800, Xander at plus 900, Rahm at plus 1,000, Bryson and Iberg at both at plus 1,200. And then the final major, the Open Championship, will be Scotty at plus 600, Rory at plus 800, Xander at plus 1,000, Rahm, Morikawa, Iberg, all at plus 1,800. I definitely understand why Bryson is not near the top for the Open Championship. He doesn't play well out there. He doesn't play well in the wind and everything. So I doubt that he's going to be there. But if you notice, Iberg is within the top 5 or tied for the top 5 in all of these. My future bet that I'm putting down is Iberg with a top 10 finish in all 4 majors. I think that's a lock. It's going to be plus 2,500, which I think is super low. But I think it's a lock. I think he's finishing top 10 all 4 majors. And to be honest with you, I think he's winning one. But I'm not really shocked at Scotty being the favorite in every single major. He'll be the favorite in any tournament that he plays in. He's the best player in the world. Everyone knows it. Everyone's seen it. He proved it last year. So I'm not shocked that he's there, but it is a little bit disappointing. It's hard to take him in every tournament that he plays because the odds just aren't high enough for me. I'd rather take someone a little bit different. And again, for the Masters, there hasn't been a back-to-back winner in 20 years. I don't know. Maybe Scotty's that good. Maybe he does it, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll move on here. So upcoming events for this weekend, you only have 2, and it's honestly not even this weekend. One is the TGL that I mentioned earlier, New York versus Bay, tonight at 8 p.m. And then you have the PGA Sony Open at Waialae Country Club, Honolulu, Hawaii. Instead of doing picks, I'm actually going to be doing bets. So for the PGA Sony Open, Corey Connors, top 5 finish, plus 280. He played well. I think he can do it again. I think he'll be fine out there. So I think he'll have a chance. Definitely go top 5, if not even higher. I think he could do top 3, almost win it. But I have him in top 5 finish for 280. And then for the TGL Bay versus New York, you pick a team is how the bet works. I was looking at it online and everything. Honestly, I don't really know. I don't know how any of these guys are going to play in this. So I went with Bay just because of Iberg and Wyndham Clark. I like both of them. I think they're both outstanding players. So I took them at plus 100. I don't really know why New York was favored it. I have no idea. I think everyone's kind of still confused and still kind of waiting to see how it all plays out and how these guys kind of interact with this indoor thing with playing into a screen and then turning around and playing to a green. So it's going to be interesting, but I took Bay at plus 100. We'll see how they turn out. I'll let you guys know if they hit next week. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Again, thank you for coming back. It is going to be consistent. We'll be doing this all year, every week, dropping Tuesdays now. I don't know what time yet. I'm still trying to figure out what time I want to drop it on Tuesdays, but it'll be Tuesday mornings before the TGL plays, and then I might transfer it back to Wednesdays after the TGL is done and March 25th, so the end of March. So, but keep an eye out every Tuesday for at least the next 2 weeks. Again, I'll keep you guys updated on what the PGA is doing as far as the Tour Championship, if they're going to change it, if they're going to make any of these different things. And then obviously we will talk about the LPGA and Live Golf and kind of go through the odds and go through, how the season's going to play out for them once we get closer to those two starting. So, again, thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week.